All right, hello everyone. I apologize for pushing this stream back. Uh, Sometimes you have to course correct based upon what's happening in your life. Let me make sure I could see myself over on YouTube. And I think this is live. This is going to be a short informational stream. Yep, there's me. There's me right there. um, all right, so I'm going to play the intro. Let me adjust this really quickly. Boom, like that. Yep. I'm going to adjust this. I'm sorry, I adjusted the screen. I'm going to play the intro and then I'll see you guys on the other side. This is going to be a short stream. There's an article I wanted to share with my subscriber base, and I'm going to share it, say a few words on it, and then I will jump off. So I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Please hit those likes as you're coming in. The super chat is live. If anyone wants to make a donation to the channel, you could donate by super chat. Otherwise, my Cash App and PayPal are here. You're under no obligation, though donations are appreciated. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, my original channel. First of all, please like this stream, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, guys, I just wanted to get in a quick midday, early Monday stream. You know, I usually either go on the weekends or I go just after clocking off of work during the rush time hour. I'm sorry, during the rush hour time. Getting my words mixed up. But today is my day off from my 9 to 5. And so I wanted to get a stream in here. Before I do, just some quick promotion here. Let me see. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone who has signed up for the Big Words LLC newsletter. The names are slowly growing, and I've started to craft the first one. So that is on the way. This is it here. It's below in the description box. There's a link there. There's a greeting, and then there's the subscribe button. You just enter your email into that subscribe button, and I promise that I will not give your information away to a third party because I know how that goes. What else? So let me minimize this. One of the things I'll be talking about in the newsletter is my book project, The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I am a writer. So if I could, in a perfect world, if I could leave my 9 to 5, I would do this for the rest of my days. I would write. That's a description of my book. I have another promotional essay on the way, and I am figuring out how to put this thing through editing right now. One more shameless plug. If you haven't, please subscribe to Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. I just did a open science stream yesterday where I covered a myriad of topics. We talked about the contagion, the worldwide contagion. We talked about the James Webb Telescope over there. We talked about, well, I read articles like I'm going to read today. I read an article on the worldwide contagion. I read an article on the James Webb Telescope. I read an article about the Biden administration's proposal to increase the ethanol percentage of our gasoline to 15% versus 10%. And then I closed with talking about the scientific/technical side of Elon Musk trying to purchase Twitter. So we talk about a lot of interesting things over there, and I need to get the watch hours up. So please give it, visit the channel, subscribe, and yeah, join us on that journey over there. As you know, or maybe you don't know, people who look like us, our community, we lag behind in the sciences and the STEMs. So I want to do what I can to reverse that trend. I mean, part of it is a lot of folks don't know that we lag behind in the STEMs, but part of that's linked to reading, and I think many people in this sphere know that nationwide, Black boys have a 10%. 10% of Black boys read at level. So if you can't read, you're not going to have a fighting chance in the STEMs. Okay. So this stream, again, this is going to be a short stream. Mr. Coakley, good morning. Thank you for signing up for my newsletter. Much appreciated. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. So this stream, the way I'm recalibrating this channel. Education is a focus, money is a focus, current events is a focus, and most of you know that. If you don't know, I had LJ from Savings Minus Debt on my channel a couple of weeks ago. He comes back and we talk about the debt matrix and being debt slaves and those kinds of things and owning yourself. And if you're subscribed to Savings Minus Debt, you know that one of the things LJ talks about quite a bit is the student loan pause date. He has his eyes focused on that, and he's typically reporting on whether or not it's going to expire or whether or not it's going to keep getting pushed back. So, LJ, if you're watching this, I'm not doing this to steal your thunder. I am just kind of echoing your message, your messaging, and it's just important to whether or not you're just a casual observer, whether or not you're thinking about investing. It's important just to keep your eyes on what's going on, because this whole student loan bubble, this whole student loan thing, it can have reverberating effects on everyone else. I was fortunate that I'm in the public sector in the federal government. So throughout this entire world event, I'm not saying exactly what it is because I don't want the YouTube algorithm to snatch it down. I was able to keep working. And I am fortunate that my student loan, I think I finished college. My mother took out a $12,000 Parent Plus loan for me for undergrad, and then uh, I had another $25K for undergrad. My last 2 years of undergrad were paid by EPA fellowship, and then for grad school and during my thesis training, my doctoral training in pharmacology, that was all paid for. So for my schooling, I only owed 37, but that's a small amount. You might say only, but relative to some of these kids coming out owing 50 and 100 and 200, 37,000 isn't much. But student loans, as you know, for those of you who have them, they're designed to stay with you for a while. So unless you're debt free and you have lots of disposable income, your student loan is going to stick with you for a while. So I'm not sure if 45's administration did it, but I know that the Biden administration they put a pause on student loan payments. So anyway, there's an article I'm going to read from the Washington Post. I get the Washington Post. I don't always get to read it, but there is valuable information in here whenever I sit down and read it. And some people are skeptical of the Washington Post. Some people jokingly call it the Washington Compost. But there's a woman in here who writes a column. It's called the Color of Money column. And I think she has valuable things to say on pretty much everything money related. She preaches being frugal. She preaches being wise with your money. Her name is Michelle Singletary from right here in the DMV. As a matter of fact, I might tag Michelle in this. I might put this video in a tweet and tag Michelle so she could see that I support her work. And I think that I support her work and that I shared her work on my YouTube channel. Chaos, yes, I was gonna read it from the hard copy here, but I had the link queued up, so I'm gonna drop the link in the chat so you guys can read it for yourselves. Hey, Chaos, Chemistry, QJC, Crystal Toodle, and Saint Veloy, thank you for coming through. Please hit the like button. Thank you for Gino, Michigan represent. Gino, are you from Sagnasty or are you one of the Flintstones? Which one are you? I know you're from Michigan, up northward of Ann Arbor. Are you a Flintstone or are you from Sagnasty? Saginaw. Everyone, if you're not from Michigan, if you've never been to Michigan, Sagnasty is the nickname for Saginaw. A lot of great athletes came out of Flint and Saginaw. A lot of them went to the University of Michigan. Some of them went to Michigan State. But Gino, thank you for the $49 super chat. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Really, Chris, haven't seen you in a while. Always nice to see you show up in my chat. Thank you for being here. Let's see. So you're a Flintstone. I'm thinking Mateen Cleaves. Is Charlie Bell? Was he one of the Flintstones? Antonio Hudson? Though they were all on the Michigan State, the 2000 national championship. Charlie Bell. Jason Richardson was from Saginaw. Lamar Woodley played defensive end for us in the early 2000s. He was from Saginaw. So a lot of great athletes out of those towns and cities. Mark Ingram II. There you go. Okay. All right. I don't want to belabor this. Gino, thank you for the super chat. Once again, everyone, the super chat is live. The Cash App. If you want to make a donation by Cash App or PayPal, that information is here. So I'm going to read this article. It's not a long article. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Once again, yesterday's Open Science stream, that link is here over on Big Discussions 76 Science and Technology. Let's see. That's the Open Science Hangout from yesterday. Today's article from Michelle Singletary, that is here. And it's interesting because she gave it a slightly different title than the newspaper copy. The newspaper copy is the title of this YouTube video. It says, "The student loan reprieve won't last forever. Get ready." This online draft is entitled "The Student Loan Pause Won't Last Forever. Get Ready for Repayment." LJ, once again, if you see this, I think I'm going to add LJ in the title. I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I'm just echoing your gospel. So I'm going to put my hard copy over here. Crystal Tootle, as always, said something interesting. She said, "They can have the degrees back. They can't take the knowledge America systems." Crystal, did you were in biology with me? Was it biology or chemistry? Did you graduate in biology or chemistry? Because I think college isn't for everyone. There are certainly other, and I have a PhD, so I'm like the poster child for white collar training, but that isn't for everybody. There are the skill trades, there's the military, there's entrepreneurship, and I don't think we do a good job talking about those different career tracks. But I think I'm a believer in Robert Kiyosaki's gospel as well. I think the underlying thing you have to teach people is money, how to win with it, how to invest it, how to put it to work for you. So whether you become white collar, blue collar, whether you go to the military, whether you become an artist, whatever you become, I think that's the underlying most important thing. Understanding money, understanding how to invest it, understanding how to stay as debt free as possible, and understanding how to make money work for you. So that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, let us not digress. Okay. Michelle Singletary. And she attends one of the more prominent Baptist, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but one of the more prominent Baptist churches here in the DMV, First Baptist Church of Glenarden. I've been to that church several times. That's a nice church. It's a huge church. And Pastor John Jenkins is the pastor of that church. If you're ever in the DMV, I would recommend stopping through there. Okay, the student loan pause won't last forever. Get ready for repayment. The latest pause includes major new assistance for borrowers who were in default before the pandemic. Okay. That picture says, "Thank you for extending the student loan pause." See, one misconception people have with loans is that whenever the loans, unless they're forgiven, they never go away. They if they pause them, it's a pause. They're going to resume at some point. I got into debt trouble a couple of years ago, and I consolidated my credit cards into a signature loan through my credit union. And every Christmas, they'd say you can do a loan skip. Okay, so you'd have extra money to spend during the holiday season. But the only thing that did, it helps you out every year for Christmas and New Year's. But all that did was ultimately extend the loan. You skip a month, but the loan balance doesn't go anywhere. So that's just something to keep in mind. 4 months. That's how long the federal student loan borrowers have before their loan payments start up again, or maybe not. It's possible another repayment reprieve may stretch the loan pause until the end of this year. I'll bet that happens. I'll bet the Biden administration keeps moving the goalposts, so to speak. And remember, this was a huge election topic. This was a huge election point. Many people were looking for the Democratic side to relieve the student loans, or at least take some of the money off of what people owe. It's possible another repayment reprieve may stretch the loan pause until the end of this year. But even if that happens, if you have federal loans, it's time to start planning for the day. But even if that happens, if you have federal loans, it's time to start planning for the day when your payments will need to be paid. So they're not going anywhere. Here's what you need to know about the most recent extension, including major relief for borrowers who were in default before the payment pauses began. So these are people who were already behind before the pandemic. I can't imagine that. Has anything changed with the payment pause? The relief stays the same, continuing to apply only to eligible federal student loans. The extension for student loan repayment, interest, and collections runs until August 31st. The pandemic-related payment pause, first offered in March 2020 for federal student loans, includes a 0% interest rate, suspension of loan payments, and suspension of collection actions on delinquent and defaulted loans. But there was major news for people who are in default. The pause provided borrowers in default temporary protection from collection activities, but that's all. The Biden administration announced that these borrowers won't go back into collections until after the pause ends. This will greatly relieve the financial pressure on millions of borrowers, including those from minority and low-income households, said Abby Shafroth, interim director of the National Consumer Law Center's Student Loan Borrower Assistance Project. These borrowers will no longer be subject to the financially destabilizing collection practices that the government uses to collect on student loans once they're in default, Shafroth said. What help will I get if my loans were in default before the pandemic? When someone defaults on their student loans, tax refunds can be seized, wages can be garnished, and part of Social Security payments, including disability benefits, can be withheld. Defaulted borrowers can't qualify for income-driven repayment programs and hardship deferments. Once a family struggles with unaffordable student loan debt, they can have the social safety net pulled from underneath them, Shafroth said. At the end of the pandemic, under the CARES Act, collection actions for eligible defaulted student loans were suspended, but many people worried about what would happen once the pause was over. The Education Department said these borrowers will now receive a fresh start and re-enter repayment in good standing. At the end of the payment pause, the negative mark of default will be removed from their credit. Oh, that's huge. That's helpful. The Education Department said in a statement through a spokesperson. Borrowers won't be subject to collection actions such as a tax refund, offset, or wage garnishment. The Education Department said that in the coming weeks, additional information will be posted at studentaid.gov, and borrowers will receive direct communication about how this relief will affect them directly. How should I prepare for when my payments start up again? The first thing you should do is make sure your loan servicer has your most current contact information. Don't assume if the servicer doesn't contact you that you're off the hook. Update your contact information with your loan servicer and in your studentaid.gov profile. Open your mail, snail and email. Seriously, ignoring your responsibility will only make things worse. Make sure you know what company is handling your student loans. And Betsy Mayotte, president of TISLA, the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, a nonprofit organization that offers free student loan advice. All right, guys, we're almost done. During the whole COVID pause, we've had a lot of servicer upheaval, and loans have been and continue to change who the servicer is, Mayotte said. Navient, which is a major student loan servicer, exited the federal servicing business last year. I won't be able to afford my loan payment when they start up again. What can I do to lower it? If you're still struggling and you haven't already done so, look into lower payment options, including various income-based repayment plans. In some cases, depending on your income, family size, and where you live, your monthly payment could be extremely low, even zero. For more information about the plans, go to studentaid.gov. We can almost always find a solution for people who are struggling with federal loans, MacLeod said. If your payment won't be affordable and you need to apply for an income-based payment plan or hardship deferral, start putting in the paperwork no later than July to make sure it's processed in time for the first payment due date, MacLeod said. Okay, we're almost at the end. Is there any help for people with Parent Plus loans? Okay, for folks who went to HBCUs, you probably have an experience with the Parent Plus loans, at least before the Obama administration. A lot of folks don't know that for whatever reason, I haven't done the research, but the Obama administration really tightened the borrowing criteria for the Parent Plus loans. This is not to disparage uh, President Obama or Arnie Duncan or any of those people, but this came up. I'm active in the alumni chapter for the DC area for Johnson C. Smith University, and we were at a meeting, and people were dumbfounded by the fact that many kids at the school at that time couldn't qualify for the Parent Plus loans. So during that stretch, remember, a lot of kids couldn't finish their degrees because they couldn't finance their education. So the Parent Plus loan traditionally has been an important vehicle for students at HBCUs. That's just FYI. If you have a Parent Plus loan and the monthly payment is unaffordable, there is something you can do. MacLeod recommends borrowers look into applying for the income contingent repayment plan by consolidating their Parent Plus loans into a direct consolidation loan. So for the Parent Plus loan, your parent has to have good credit. So if mom or dad doesn't have good credit, you weren't able to get that loan. Fortunately, my mother had good credit and she was willing to take out that loan for me. Many parents are not willing to take out loans for their students, for their children to go to college. My cousin, her mother wouldn't take out a Parent Plus loan for her, but that's just FYI. Your parents have to borrow that money for you. So if you don't finish, if you party too much and you flunk out, your parent's going to be holding the bag for that. And if you're a parent and your child, you do that for if you do that for your child and they wash out, that's going to be on your credit, not theirs. Just FYI. That's one of the things that motivated me when I was at Johnson C. Smith University. Can I still take advantage of the public loan forgiveness waiver? I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on. Okay. It went away. Can I still take advantage of the public service loan forgiveness waiver? Under the PLSF program, the remaining balance of a borrower's debt is forgiven after 120 qualifying months of payment. That is 3 months. Many people thought they were working their way to forgiveness, only to find out they weren't eligible because of the type of loan they had wasn't eligible, or they weren't in a certain type of income-driven repayment plan or working for a qualifying employer. Others complained their loan servicers misled them about their eligibility for the PSLF or steered them to more forbearance or deferral options. Yeah, a lot of folks are banking on the fact that they'll be able to get their loan forgiven through their employer, which is a good idea if your employer will do it. But if they won't, or if they misguide you, as this article says, then that's got to be very disappointing. As part of an effort to address the problems with the PSLF, the Education Department introduced last year a time-limited waiver that would count previously ineligible payments toward PSLF, including for people with previously ineligible types of federal student loans. You still have time to take advantage of the waiver, but don't wait until the last minute. Borrowers are working in public service. Borrowers who are working in public service but have not applied for the program should do so by October 31st. You can find out more about the waiver at studentaid.gov/PSLF. Maybe I should look into that myself because I'm in the public service. How likely is another payment pause? The Biden administration has backtracked before on ending the relief, but it would be wise to start thinking now about how to incorporate your loan payments back into your budget. The relief will end eventually, so get ready for repayment. So, guys, LJ isn't the only one banging this drum about, the repayment is coming. Michelle is banging the drum now as well. So for the folks out there who have taken the pause, be prepared to start repaying or suffer the consequences. But what about, now this is the huge one. This is big right here. Everybody needs to remember this. This is Michelle saying this, not LJ, not me, not anybody. She says, but what about the promised student loan forgiveness? Was there ever a promise? I see Salty the Equalizer is here in the chat. Salty, was there ever a promise to wipe out student loan debt? I don't remember President Biden or anyone else making that promise. I know that Elizabeth Warren, I know that's what she was selling in the Democratic primary, but I don't know that anyone's ever committed to wiping it all away. But what about the promised student loan forgiveness? You can keep hope alive, but it's still unclear whether widespread loan forgiveness will ever happen. There's so much disagreement about this debt. You'd be wise not to count on your student loan obligation being wiped out or greatly reduced. So that's from Michelle Singletary. Salty the Equalizer says there will be another relief because inflation will be around for a while. Okay. Salty says correct. I think that's referring to no one making a clear promise on this. And I was about to say something and I forgot what I was about to say. Student loan forgiveness. Oh, I know. And I'm going to wrap this up shortly, everyone. Thank you for being here. And thank you once again to Gino for that generous super chat. If you haven't, at least the first book, at least the first two books, I would recommend for general knowledge reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. I mean, not only does Robert talk about investing, being financially literate, and making money work for you and not working hard for money, but he also talks about a lot of abstract things, and he introduces a lot of philosophical and I'll say metaphysical ideas. But one of the things he talks about is that when things become too big, they ultimately collapse. So think about the bubbles. The bubbles, when things become too big, eventually they collapse. They go back down to size. Salchi, am I right? We're talking financially here. And so when housing prices get too high, eventually there's a correction. When the stock market gets too high, there's a correction. When a company gets too big, there's some sort of correction. And I there's a book I read called Aftershock. And I made this slide for myself back in 2011 because I like reading about money and learning about money. And the book described 6 bubbles. The first one was the real estate bubble. We saw that bust, and we might see that happen again because the prices, I'm hearing the prices are going through the roof. The discretionary spending bubble, that's on my slide. The private debt bubble, the stock market bubble, the dollar bubble, and finally, the government debt bubble. That's the one that scares me the most, the government debt bubble, because no one's talking about it, especially not our government, not our folks on Capitol Hill. But that's a different discussion for a different day. But I'm just saying that things that eventually get too big eventually collapse and correct and shrink back down to their original size. So if you haven't, I would read at least the first 2 books. Rich Dad Poor Dad in the cash flow quadrant, because you start thinking about all these things. And so in terms of college tuition and student loans, I mean, I don't know what a reckoning will look like. I mean, I can foresee a scenario where colleges might have to stop charging astronomical amounts. I think things were under control in the mid 90s when I was in college, but uh, from what I've heard and read, and I'm not saying this to besmirch our current president, but our current president's the one who guaranteed the student loans. So student loans couldn't be, Salchi, correct me if I'm wrong, student loans couldn't be, um, you couldn't get rid of your student loans via bankruptcy. Okay. I think President Biden helped write that into law. So once you get them, you got them and they're here and you have to pay for them, or else your credit score will get damaged for a while. So I think with that in place, I think I heard that colleges said we could just charge as much as we want because these are guaranteed loans, and we could charge as much as we want. So, but the point is, once things get too big, eventually there is going to be a reckoning somewhere of some sort. Let's see. I'm going to read through some of the comments. Salchi, hey, thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. Everyone, Salchi has been on my channel a couple times. We've been talking about money topics, and I will invite him back again periodically. Salchi the Equalizer, as Ram says. If you haven't, check out my interview with Ram Wills from last Thursday discussing the importance of dreams. I'm going to look through some of your comments really quickly before I shut the stream down. Okay. Chaos Rain stopped through. Was good, Dr. Dunbar. Good morning, Chaos Rain. I wonder how long till they start coming after people for their student loan payments. Mr. Coakley. Good morning, Dr. Dunbar. You're welcome for signing up to my newsletter. Everyone, please hit that like button. QJC, good morning. Chemistry Immore, my degree was paid for on graduation day. Thanks, Uncle Sam. Okay, Chemistry Immore, you were one of the lucky ones. Is the article also on the website? Yeah, so guys, I dropped the article link in the chat. The link is also below in the description box with a link to my newsletter, my Cash App and PayPal. So that's there if you're watching on the playback. All that's below in the description box. Okay. Crystal says they can have the degrees back. They can't take the knowledge. America's systems. Gino says he's a Flintstone. I asked him if he was from Flint or Saginaw. Really Chris stopped through. Hello, Really Chris. Gino says we terrified of Sag Nasty cats. LOL. Arthur Hill used to terrify us Flint cats. Arthur Hill. I can't remember if he was a football player or basketball player. Gino said yes. Mark Ingram II is from Flint. I ran track with Mark Ingram II. Running back for Alabama. His dad was on the New York Giants. That New York Giant team that beat my Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25 in Tampa. Crystal says, I apologize. I had to log back on. I was a biology major with a minor in chemistry. Salchi says, good morning. Gino says, plus the interest accrues when you skip payments. Yep, that's a trap. The loan skip, the pause, whatever, it's a bit of a trap. Gino said the Biden administration and the Dems won off promising $10,000 of student loan relief. Yeah, that was floating around quite a bit. Though I believe people should pay back what they owe. He says that I owe $50K. The Dems will lose if that promise isn't satisfied. Yeah, a lot of people were banking on that. Gino says lots of folks already saying they regret. I don't want to make this too political. But our current president doesn't have a good approval rating. Crystal says, when I was in nursing school, the state took my refund for my undergraduate education. Oh. Why isn't education free? Salchi, if you're there, you might want to answer that. I don't think no one should pay to learn, just my opinion. Okay, Crystal, you're going to start a little debate here. Take that 800 million they sending to the UK, to the Ukraine, and put that toward the educational system. That's a good point. I'm sure students over here, especially from underserved communities, could use that money. Let's see. Salchi says because the student loan is the worst loan to have. Salchi, maybe we could talk about that at some point. My mom was upset I chose a private school instead of a state school. Well, if you want you could have gone to Virginia State or Bowie State or Morgan State or Coppin State, but you wanted to go to JCSU. There will be another relief because inflation will be around for a while. Correct. Anything any one of the parties promises is just a lie. I'm just saying. I can't disagree with that. Great live stream. We need to hear this. Crystal said, Gino, it's not. They already have plans here in North Carolina how to go to the plans to reduce lunches and fees. So she says, yes. He says, I'm currently waiting for the real estate and stock corrections. Savvy investors wait for crashes to buy things on discount. Crystal says, just pop all the bubbles and rebuild again. Who's the author of Aftershock? I'll do a quick Google search. It's either in a bin here. All my financial books are in a bin. I don't have it handy. Give me a second, guys. Let's see. Aftershock. I see it. Amazon. This is the book right here. Aftershock. Protect yourself and profit in the next global financial meltdown. This book is over 10 years old now. I think we've already lived through quite a bit, but it might still be good to read for perspective. The author is David Wiedmer. Actually, there's three: David Wiedmer, Robert A. Wiedmer, and Cindy S. Spitzer. So there you go. I'll drop the Amazon link in the chat for you guys. Okay. Let's see. Almost through. Salchi says, I complete taxes with a CPA who works at Capitol Hill. They are all aware of the dollar crisis. Yeah, I listen to some of these things, and it's a little scary for me. I mean, we assume that the dollar is going to be there. We assume that our monetary system is going to work and that it's always going to chug along the way it always has. But what if it doesn't? What if prices go through the roof? What if the dollar is no longer? I don't know. It's scary when you hear some economists talk, but it's good to know. Salchi says, correct. That's why student loans are the worst loans. We have to talk about that sometime. QJC, the only way to get out of federal student loans, you got to pay them off in full. Paid in Full. That's one of my favorite movies. Wood Harris, Mekhi Phifer, and Cameron. Paid in Full. Good morning, Toya the Tutor. Salchi says, knowledge is free, library and the internet. Art New Stalls passing through. Peace, Art New Stall. I watched some of your stream yesterday with the elder gentleman. You guys were talking about Malcolm X and Martin and the community and all these different things. Thanks for stopping through. Mr. Coakley says, thanks. And Gino says, you can get scared or get prepared. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you assume that this is guys, another, and I'm going to wrap this up. Robert Kiyosaki's books. This was my first time ever learning about the gold standard and the fact that the United States used to be on the gold standard. Our dollar used to be backed by gold. And the Nixon administration took us off the gold standard. And that, Salchi, if you're still there, you can confirm or refute this. But once our dollar came off the gold standard, let me just show you dollars just for fun. Once our dollar came off the gold standard, that paved the way for deficit spending and all these other things that we're dealing with now. So there's value in books. I would recommend everyone at least read the first two of these, the first Rich Dad, Poor Dad book and Cash Flow Quadrant. Cash Flow Quadrant, well, that's it right there. You could be an E, a S, a B, or an I. Even if you never move on that information, I think it's good to just know that information. It really breaks down how the world works and the fact that there are different tax laws for different people. And I think in my Ron Will stream from Thursday, I think Crystal asked a question: why does a person have to start a business to make it and to live well in the United States? Well, the tax laws are written up so that people who have businesses or some sort of business can do certain things while employees cannot. That's the way the tax laws are written up. So chaos. Yeah, I need to run, so I can't open this one up right now. Is there a specific question you had? And Salchi says, when the USA loses the reserve status, good luck. Yeah, no one, I mean, we're so distracted by everyday life. No one really knows that there was a gold standard. No one knows that there is a gold standard. Well, the majority of the American population probably doesn't know that there was a gold standard and that our dollar was backed by gold. And the majority of citizens don't know what deficit spending is or what quantitative easing is or what any of this means. So a lot of folks just don't know. You have to be curious enough to pick up those books or pick up a book on the topic, or maybe you have someone in your circle who's fluent on these things like Salchi. But otherwise, if you don't know these vocabulary words and these terms, when you watch a channel like was it CNBC, or if you pick up a issue of the Wall Street Journal or anything, what you're going to be reading is going to be complete gibberish if you don't know these basic terms. So money and finance, investing, that's a science all in itself. Even talking about things like the debt crisis and student loans and the dollar bubble, and this is all a science all in itself. Anyhow, guys, that's what I wanted to say. Shout out to LJ. Like, once again, I'm not trying to steal your thunder, but I'm just echoing other people are talking about this besides LJ of Savings Minus Debt. So this is a real thing. So everyone, I'm gonna stop this now. Thank you for those of you who humored me and tuned in and listened to this. Thank you to Gino and Salty for the super chats. Let me thank you for the likes, everyone. Much appreciated. And I am going to wind this one down. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'm not sure when I'll go live again. I have things I want to go live about. I want to talk about my book some more. I want to have Salty back. But the next offerings on this channel may be pre-records. So stay tuned. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'm going to do one more round of advertising here. Please consider joining the Big Words LLC newsletter. The link is below in the description box. There's a short greeting, and the subscribe button is there at the bottom. You just click that and enter in your email address. And I want to thank everybody who signed up. Salchi, thank you for signing up. Asada normally comes through. Who's this person at the beginning? Mr. Coakley signed up. So I want to thank everyone. Toya signed up. I want to thank you to everyone who signed up. This is all a work in progress. And it's all a part of, it's the next step of my content creation journey, So, all right, everyone. If you're watching on the playback, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to put something in the tip jar, that information is below in the description box. And with that, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care. I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, one other thing. I forgot to show this infographic. I'm trying to log off here. This is the background for this stream. This is the wallpaper I use. This is an infographic that I found. This is from Prudential. So I'm just going to read these numbers. It says 74% of students don't know how long they have to pay off their loan. 53% don't know what their monthly payment will be. And 59% don't know how much of their income will go toward repayment. And 52% don't know if anyone co-signed their loan. You know what? Since I'm throwing this in at the end here, maybe that will make a nice voiceover upload, a nice pre-record. So look out for that. So once again, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.